Hey?
Boom, boom.
Joel, Matthew, thank you very much for seeing me today, and congratulations with the film.
Thank you.
Joel, I wanted to talk to you first about the script. I mean, it's a cop film, but it's a film with many elements. It's a morality play, talks about abuse of alcohol, abuse of power. What I want to know was, what was that first element that came to your mind, and how did that kind of spiral out to incorporate all these other kind of things?
Well, I believe all people, the majority of people are good people trying to do the right thing. And then so I was always wondering, why do good people often, do these terrible things? And the terrible thing in this film is obviously, my character causes damage to a child, which is an accident.
Yeah.
But the real terrible thing is what happens next, is that people are compelled to lie about it. And what I wanted to ask the question of myself and to invite the audience into is, what would you do in those circumstances? And can you really answer that if you haven't been down that road?
Right. Matthew, so this is your first feature film since, your second feature film since your first Noise back in the day.
Yep.
What was it about Joel's script that made you want to say, all right, I'm going back to this type of filmmaking?
That's interesting. Should I tell this story?
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
don't mind?
I hunted him down. I got the script. I knew he was the right guy for it.
Yeah.
He was the guy I wanted. And so I sent it to him. Then?
I read it and loved it and rang Joel and said, I don't want to do it because it's about cops.
Right.
I've just done that, and I didn't want to be cop guy, I didn't. And Joel was very gracious about it. And then about 3 weeks later, I was still thinking about the film, and it just occurred to me, why am I still thinking about this? I've turned it down. It dawned on me that I'd made a mistake, and so I rang Joel and said, I hope you haven't found anybody else, and luckily you hadn't. And even though I think that they are companion pieces, these two films, they're very different in some ways, I think. Partly because Noise is about the constabulary, and this is about the detectives. Very, very different culture, even within the police. And it was a different story, and it was written by somebody else that could write.
And by the way, I wasn't hunting him down because I thought I needed someone who knows how to handle a cop story well.
Yep.
It was about his ability to create tension on screen, an atmosphere that struck me about Noise.
Right.
I think they've got there's a similarity there in that, you can oversimplify these films and sort of go, they're cop dramas, but they're not really, because neither of them are procedurals. They're not about solving a mystery.
Yep.
They're about exploring, the human condition, human foible, that's catalysed by a crime.
A favourite filmmaker of mine who did that really well was Sidney Lumet. He had a couple of cop movies, Princess and Serpico. And when I was watching it, those films kind of struck me when I was watching it, and reminded me of those films. So I wanted to ask you, Joel, influences-wise, that type of director, that type of era of the 70s and such, is that an influence on you? Because even when I watch your acting work, it seems very character-first driven. That was the type of mantra back then as well. Do those films have a big influence on you as a filmmaker and an actor?
Yeah, and particularly when I went to drama school. Before that, my diet of films was very basic. It was all, the brawn of the 80s and blow-em-up movies. Usually had a hand grenade in them somewhere and a lot of bicep. Yeah. The thing when I went to drama school was I discovered that era of filmmaking, and it particularly focused, as my intentions were as an actor, on the acting, And what I love about that era is that you had people like Donald Sutherland, Dustin Hoffman, these strange, weird-shaped, odd-looking people at the centre of a movie. And the characters they were playing could be as good as they were bad or as bad as they were good. And that definitely has been an influence on me as an actor. And the faith in knowing that you don't have to look like Brad Pitt to be the centre of a movie. And I wish some of those more of those elements of movie making were here today. And ironically, or not ironically, it just so happens that Matthew shares the same passion and has much more detailed understanding of that era of filmmaking too, visually.
It's true. There was an era, just a moment in time there where actors that would have been considered character actors were stars. Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman. Yeah.
We were talking before about not wanting to be a cop guy, but the beauty thing I find about cop movies is that you can do so much with them. Just take, for example, your two films, Noise, Felony, put them back to back, and there's so many differences there. What is it about cop movies or cop characters that you can kind of use that as a genre or characters as a springboard to talk about a lot of different things?
I think it's because the police, it's a profession that comes with power and so much responsibility and risk as well.
The danger that surrounds it.
And that there's no such thing as a minor event. I mean, even when we were sort of researching it, and a lot of the time, the police go through this boring, repetitive work, but they have to live in this heightened state because they never know, at what moment something serious is going to happen. Definitely. What room are you going to walk into that you might do it 1,000 times, and then the next time, that's the time that the guy's got the gun or whatever. But they have to walk into every room, assuming that.
Tom Burlinson was just a beast in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Was, as a screenwriter, what's it like having someone like him deliver your dialogue, especially when you're acting across from him?
It's like it was a great gift that the script came to him at the right time, that he read it, responded, and it drew him to want to be involved. The great thing about Tom is he's such a kind of capable actor in any regard, that he sits perfectly in that balance where he can be that, trustworthy, gentle, energy, or he can be, dangerous and villainous. And this role demanded both of him, and a very kind of duplicitous sort of stuff. He just brings a conviction and a humanity to that as well, that means that even when he's telling me in the film to do what is perceived as a bad or a wrong thing, you totally get it. And he's convincing and charismatic about it. And he's a very rare actor. It looks easy when you watch him do it. So much hard work goes into it.
Yeah. Last question, and it has to do with Blue Tongue Films.
Yeah.
The production company which produced this movie. I want to know, is there a mantra or a mission statement, especially in regards to feature films productions with Blue Tongue? Is there something that you guys have talked about and said, this is the direction we want to go with our projects?
Yeah, and it's sort of like, the rule of Fight Club. The first rule of Fight Club is there is no Fight Club. It's almost like the big underpinning rule of Blue Tongue Films is that there's nothing organised or real about it. It's really just a bunch of people who share ideas and support each other, read each other's material, have an open form of healthy criticism and that kind of thing. Watch first cuts and weigh in. And the real producer of this movie is Goalpost Pictures, fronted by Rosemary Blight. Blue Tongue is something that will always bear a co-production if one of us is affiliated with it. So really it's just a brand name of a collective.
Okay. Joel, Matthew, thank you very much and congratulations with the film.
Thank you. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks a lot, guys.